Welcome to the Runner's World Shoe Review with me, Rick Pearson.
And me, Jane Maguire.
Today we're looking at the Nike ZoomX Invincible. Nike positioning this shoe as a kind of injury prevention shoe. Lots of foam, lots of the ZoomX foam, which is the same foam that's used in the Vaporfly. And it's being positioned as a kind of easy long run shoe. Jane, what are your thoughts?
10 out of 10.
Whoa!
I absolutely love this shoe. It's my favourite shoe I've run in a long time. It's just fantastic. It's my dream shoe.
Well, I was actually pretty surprised by the shoe because it's almost the exact opposite of what I normally want in a shoe. It's really big and it's like a very maximalist shoe. But I was really surprised actually, and I think it's to do with the foam. It's this ZoomX foam that's like very comfortable, but also got that kind of snappiness that makes you feel like you're kind of getting a little bit of help on the run. And I need all the help I can get actually. So I was very, I was very thankful to the ZoomX. I mean, they're quite eye-catching, aren't they? There's the sort of men's version here, which is like quite a Kenyan theme, colour theme, which I love. And once you get over just the kind of slightly monster truck size of these things, I actually think they look really good.
Yeah, I agree. When I opened the box, I was like, whoa, like they are big. They have like a big bunion on the side to make the toe box really wide.
Yeah.
But they're just, and I think I couldn't get over this. It's basically like your foot is in one of those like kids armbands. Like there's a lot going on, but I wouldn't let that put you off. I think they're great. I think they look cool, and they might make your feet look a little bit bigger, but unless you're super self-conscious about how big your feet are, I think you'll forget as soon as you put them on.
I think the upper is a really nice part of the shoe. The lacing system there is really plush, lovely kind of like locked in feel. Feels kind of breathable and light on the top, but without being porous. I felt kind of, it felt really snug and sort of protected in this shoe. I think it's like a really pleasant kind of experience running in these.
Yeah, I think one of our testers for the shoe guide, and they did really well in our 2021 shoe guide, said that it was like a bear hug, and I agree with him or her. I think that's so true. You do feel really protected. I think there are different technical elements that I think you can go and read into if you're really interested, but I think they're designed to hold your foot in and give you that hug, rather than, you don't want your foot really to be moving around a lot in a shoe. I think they're great.
Yeah, I think it really achieves that. The best part of the shoe, I think, is the midsole. So it's this ZoomX foam, which is the same foam that you find in the Vaporfly shoes. So that's Nike's real top-end marathon shoe, the sort of shoe that Kipchoge has been setting all the world records in. And that's kind of interesting to find that in what is essentially like a slow-running kind of comfortable mile shoe. But I think that is the magic of this shoe, is that you get a lot of comfort, but you also get a lot of spring and a sort of sense of propulsion. So I actually felt quite like I was being quite efficient in this shoe. I wasn't just kind of ambling around the streets of South London. I felt like I was running well in this shoe in a way that I wouldn't necessarily feel if I was, I think, in a just a big padded shoe.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I think previously I've done a lot of my long runs in a Hoka. That's been my go-to. And I do find when I do a long run in the Hoka, I'll get like a blister on the my little toe where I know that I've not been, or on my arch. Whereas I think these I haven't had any of those problems. I think they kind of encourage you to kind of stand a bit taller and think about your core, and you think about how you're running a bit more. But maybe I'm getting sucked in to the
I think it's interesting, isn't it? The kind of injury prevention thing is like kind of, I feel like it's very difficult to conclusively say that like a shoe is an injury preventer, because it's such a holistic thing, like there's strength and conditioning, recovery, etc. But on the long run that I did, so I did a 16 miler in these, my legs did feel pretty good at the end actually, and that isn't normally the case. So I think there may be something in the idea that the shoe is doing a little bit of the work for you, making you nice and efficient on the long miles.
When Nike watch this and it goes up to Oregon, I think this is what we want in the 2.0 version. We want deeper lugs, because I've had a few. This might be me. I'm a very heavy-footed person and runner. I think I have had a few instances where I've like stepped up on a curb and slipped a little bit. I haven't fallen over, I've not broken a leg, but I don't want to be slipping in a shoe, and that would be my only feedback. But it might just be me. People might be watching this being like, what? I don't know if there's, I do pronate a little bit and this bit's practically flat. Maybe I'm just catching an angle. Don't know.
Yeah.
But I think for an injury prevention shoe, I want more grip.
Could be grippier. The price of the shoe, so 160 quid, that's a lot of money for a shoe. I do think though, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you want a shoe that's got that feels plush and has got a kind of like stardust quality to it. And I think this shoe has that. It's got the association with the Vaporfly, with the ZoomX foam. It's I think it's quite adaptable, could do quite a lot of different things in this shoe, like if you only had money for, or the kind of inclination to get one shoe.
I think when Nike first, and they might have tweaked it slightly, but when they first brought it out, they said that this was kind of like you'd train for your marathon in this, like an intermediate level shoe, and then you'd run your marathon in the tempo next percent or something quicker. And I disagree. I think you could run your first marathon in this. You could, I think they're a comfortable shoe that you could wear on race day. I wouldn't let that put you off. I don't think you have to buy. If we think about our first marathons, I didn't buy two different shoes.
No,
I bought one shoe.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, I think you could run a marathon in this and be more than comfy, and you could wear this as a beginner.
Really surprised by how much I like the shoe. I think it's surprisingly light. It's about 300 grams for a men's shoe, which isn't like a light shoe, but given how big it is and the kind of protection you're getting on it, that's pretty impressive. And I did feel like my legs didn't take a pounding in these. The only thing that for me is I feel like because of the height that you're at, you get a little bit of like what I call sort of lateral instability in these. And even though they're nice and wide and all the rest of it, I felt a little bit like I was kind of running like at sea a little bit, and I'd probably be slightly suspicious of, if I did all the running in a shoe like this, whether bad habits could potentially form with, like, would I end up being more like a more heavy heel strike, or because I feel like I can get away with it in a shoe that's as kind of as forgiving as this. But that's just conjecture, and that might not happen at all. And I really have to say that I'm just super impressed with the Invincible.
Well, I will be that test for you. I'll do all my miles in these because I love them. They're my dream shoe. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love them, even with the little slippy out grip problem I've had. I still put them on. Absolutely love them. Can't find another fault.